Can you tell us what exactly is the auditing standards?
Time to time, the C institutes have been publishing auditing standards. The auditing standards are not too many, there may be about 25, 30 of them,
Yeah.
not bulky document, only to say that in specific and special circumstances, how should the auditor behave or treat or respond to?
So, Robin, what is the Indian auditing standards? There are how many auditing standards in India, and what is the international auditing standards?
So Indian auditing standard starts from, they have numbered it this way, 200, 210, 220. Then they go into 300 auditing standard, 400. When it comes to auditing standard 600, it talks about auditing joint auditors, auditing of subsidiaries, and they go into auditing standards 700, 800. As I said a little earlier, there are about 25, 30 of them.
Okay.
More or less, the Indian auditing standards are in tandem with the international auditing standards, more or less.
What is exactly SA 600, and why is it important for auditors?
SA means standards of auditing.
Yeah.
600 is a serial number.
Yeah.
Little earlier, I explained that auditing SA starts SA 200, SA 300, SA 400. So SA 600 talks about, or 600 series talks about auditing of subsidiaries and group companies, joint companies, and so on and so forth. If I now focus on SA 600 particularly, there are companies which have subsidiaries, which has branches, which are joint ventures, which are sister companies.
Okay.
Now the question is, whichever is the mother company, which is called the principal company,
Okay.
the principal company will have an auditor, and then if the principal company large, it could have subsidiaries or branches running into hundreds.
Yep.
Who will audit those branches or subsidiaries is the question. Should the principal auditor, that means the auditor of the principal company or the mother company, do the audit of all the subsidiaries? The auditor may not have the strength, may not have the ability, may not have the capability. So historically what happens, the principal auditor of the mother company, depends on other auditors who are going to do the audit of the subsidiaries or branches.
Yep.
And once that audit is done of the subsidiaries and branches, then that audited accounts is then taken into consideration in preparing the holding company balance sheet and profit and loss account. And then the principal auditor gives an opinion as to how the principal company has audited the accounts is correct or not. The controversy is, how much is principal auditor responsible for the audit of the subsidiary companies and branches?
Okay.
The primary controversy is, the Indian standard SA 600 states that the principal auditor will get a carve out for the subsidiary audits or the branch audit if it is carried out by someone else. Which means the principal auditor cannot be held responsible for any inappropriacy or inappropriateness or impropriety in the subsidiary branch accounts. In the international accounting standards, however, the principal auditor is made responsible for subsidiary and branch auditing also.
So, Robin, now my next point is, how did this suddenly start as a topic of discussion, and this ICAI and NFRA?
So I have to give you a little background as to why this controversy has started now in 2024, after 75 years of independence of this country. Institute of Chartered Accountants are the sole body of not only carrying out the profession or education of its chartered accountants, but also ensuring the chartered accountants' auditing standards are appropriate and correct. The Government of India, after Companies Act of 2013, has established a body called NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority, which essentially oversees activities of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in terms of auditing and accounting. This is since 2018. It's about 6 years of age. Once NFRA came into existence, NFRA started re-auditing the audited accounts of many companies.
Okay.
Essentially, NFRA extends to large companies and to listed companies. So they took into consideration some listed companies, one based on their own research and two based on information available from SEBI, which is the market regulator, or MCA, which is called the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which oversees the Companies Act of India. Now, after 2018, once NFRA started re-auditing audited accounts,
Yep.
they found out, in my view, about 4 to 5 cases where they found that the principal auditor did not report out in certain areas of subsidiary company audits, which found to be inappropriate. There could have been money laundering, misreporting, and so on and so forth. Let me give you a recent example. There is an August 2024 NFRA order pertaining to a company called Coffee Day Enterprise. So the Coffee Day, when they re-audited the audited accounts of 2017-2018, they found several cases where the principal company gave loans to the subsidiary companies, which essentially was money laundering. The principal company gave advances and loans to the 6 out of 7 subsidiary companies, and the 6 out of 7 subsidiary companies did not have any activities also. Now, the principal auditor, if he knew that the subsidiary company has no activities, how are advances going? For information, this amounted to 3,500 crores.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's a large number. It's an 1,800 crore company giving 3,500 crore advances to subsidiary companies. I'm just picking up one instance where the NFRA asked the principal auditor that, hey, Mr. Principal Auditor, didn't you know that they're giving advances to companies, subsidiaries who doesn't have an activity? He said, no, how will I know? I don't look into subsidiary companies. The subsidiary company auditor should have checked that they are getting advances from principal, but subsidiary companies have no activities. What will they do with the money? They should have asked the question. And that's the trigger point. So the trigger point is the principal company says, I have hands up, I don't have responsibility for subsidiary companies. So what NFRA is now saying, hey, Institute of Chartered Accountants, you will also now be responsible. We want you to be held responsible, not only for the principal company, but also for the subsidiary companies. Now, what is the problem? You will say, so it's okay, it looks logical. Yes, honestly, at a very macro level, it looks logical. Now, assuming for a moment the principal company's auditor is made responsible for subsidiary company audits, what will happen? The principal company, if it's a large principal company auditor, let's say one of the big 4s or big 10 or big 20s, they themselves would like to do the subsidiary company audits. They're getting 10, 20, 30, or they will give the audits to their sister companies or with the companies they have relationships with. The problem here is the smaller CA firms, the smaller auditing firms in India are of the opinion if this is what happens, then what will happen to us? India is a little different case than advanced countries. I told you a little earlier, the advanced countries or the developed world, not the advanced countries, that's not the right word, the developed countries, makes the principal auditor responsible for the subsidiary companies also. But the ecosystem in India is little different. India has 97,000, I repeat, 97,000 small auditing firms. The ecosystem over the last 75 years has been developed in such a way that large number of small firms are doing the subsidiary company audits and the branch audits, on the basis of which the principal auditor is giving the views. The controversy is the institute is saying that for so many years nothing went wrong. We have found 4 or 5 instances of problems, we understand. We will set our house in order for sure. We will make some more checks and balances. But please do not make the principal company responsible for subsidiary company audits, because then the smaller companies or CA firms may lose business. This is just how the substance of the problem is.
Okay. So
just to give some number, so the viewers get more insight into it. In India, there are about 5,000 regularly traded listed companies. So the top 25 CA firms more or less carries out these 5,000 company audits, more or less. However, these 5,000 companies have a plethora of subsidiaries and branches and chains, which are normally being carried out by the smaller CA firms and the other firms. So the risk looks to be quite large, or what the CA firms see, Institute of Chartered Accountants saying, surely has some concerns which we should consider.
So now what's the moral of the story?
There is no doubt that both the Institute of Chartered Accountants and NFRA, both of them wants high quality audits. There is no doubt about it. And as long as the audit quality enhances and the audited accounts are trusted, that's the best ecosystem that can happen in a country like that of India, who is already the 5th largest in the world in terms of GDP, and maybe another 2 years' time will be the 3rd largest country in the world. But how can we become the largest and the very best if our accounts cannot be trusted? And therefore, in order to make this happen, both of them are engaging into conversations, and hopefully a suggested option will come up very soon, which is win-win for both.
And this is my last question. With so many IPOs happening, like every day there is an IPO. How do you see the entire India story shaping up?
There is no doubt in the mind that India is now the fastest growing economy in the world. Definitely fastest growing large economy in the world.
Yeah.
There is so much of Europe is in dire trouble. America is growing only at around 3% per annum. Australia doesn't grow anymore. China story looks to have been taken a backseat now. If people have money, people do have money. Where do they invest? If you look at the logical place, looks to be India. And because all investments are running after Indian entrepreneurs have found a lovely way to, okay, let me raise some money. And the best way to raise some money is the public domain. And therefore, the necessity to make the accounts credible and trusted, and the chartered accountants playing a very important role in this changing ecosystem is very, very important. The chartered accountants now must up their game and ensure that whatever we are doing is trustworthy, and our signature is perhaps the most expensive and the most trusted signature on earth.
Robin, thank you so much for this. You explained this beautifully and it's going to help everybody. So thanks a ton for this, Robin. Thank you so much.